Have you ever felt a strange pressure in your chest or a sudden wave of exhaustion that seemed to come out of nowhere? Maybe you brushed it off, thinking it was just a part of getting older or the result of a busy day. But what if those subtle signals were your body's way of telling you something much more serious was going on? Hi there and welcome. Today, we're diving into a topic that's not just important as potentially life-saving. We're talking about the signs a woman might be having a heart attack. Heart disease is often thought of as a man's issue, but did you know that heart attacks can present very differently in women? The symptoms aren't always as dramatic as what we see in the movies. There's not always a classic clutching of the chest and falling to the ground. Instead, the signs can be quieter, more subtle, and often mistaken for something else entirely. Now, before we dive into the details, let me tell you why this conversation is so crucial. Heart disease is a leading cause of death for women, especially those over 60. And yet, many women don't realize they're having a heart attack because their symptoms don't match what they expect. By the time they seek help, the damage may already be done. But here's the good news. If we know what to look for, we can act quickly and potentially save a life, maybe even your own. So, let's start with the first sign. Have you ever noticed an unexplained feeling of discomfort or pain in your chest? It doesn't have to be a sharp or crushing pain. It can feel like pressure, squeezing, or fullness. Imagine someone pressing their fist against your sternum. That sensation might come and go, and it's easy to dismiss it as indigestion or just a part of getting older. But here's the thing. If it's persistent or gets worse when you're active, it could be your heart struggling to get enough oxygen. Even if it's mild, don't ignore it. Think of it as your body tapping you on the shoulder, asking for your attention. Now, let's talk about something that's even trickier to identify: unusual fatigue. Sure, we all feel tired sometimes, especially as we age, but this is different. This kind of fatigue can hit you like a ton of bricks, even if you haven't been doing anything particularly strenuous. Have you ever felt like just walking to the mailbox was more effort than climbing a mountain? Or maybe you needed to sit down after doing something as simple as folding laundry. That kind of exhaustion isn't normal, and it's not something to push through. It could be your heart working overtime to pump blood, signaling that it's under stress. Here's another one to watch for: discomfort in the upper body, but not necessarily in the chest. It might show up in your shoulders, neck, jaw, or even your back. Sometimes it feels like a muscle ache or a pulled muscle, which is why so many women don't connect it to their heart. But think about it. Why would your back suddenly ache if you haven't lifted anything heavy? Or why would your jaw hurt if you haven't been clenching your teeth? These aches can happen because of how the nerves in your body communicate. When the heart is in trouble, it can send pain signals to places you wouldn't expect. I know this might sound a little scary, but here's the empowering part. Knowledge is your superpower. By paying attention to these signs, you can take action when it matters most. Don't let fear stop you from listening to your body. It's smarter than you think, and it's always trying to tell you something. Now that we've talked about chest discomfort, unusual fatigue, and those unexpected aches in the upper body, let's continue exploring what your body might be trying to tell you. Remember, heart attack symptoms in women can be subtle, but they are no less serious. Being aware of these signs can make all the difference. Let's move on to another common but often overlooked sign: shortness of breath. Have you ever fell out of breath doing something that wouldn't normally tire you out? Maybe you've been walking up a slight incline, climbing a few steps, or even just talking while standing. Suddenly, you find yourself needing to pause, take a deeper breath, or even sit down. That kind of shortness of breath isn't just about getting older, it's a red flag. Think about it this way. Your lungs and heart are like dance partners. They work together to keep your body fueled with oxygen. If your heart is struggling, your lungs might try to compensate by working harder, which can leave you feeling breathless. And here's the tricky part. This can happen even when you're resting. If you notice this kind of unexplained breathlessness, especially if it's accompanied by any of the other symptoms we've discussed, it's time to take it seriously. Now, let's talk about something that might surprise you: nausea or a feeling of being lightheaded. It's easy to dismiss these as signs of stomach bug, low blood sugar, or even dehydration. But when they come on suddenly and without a clear reason, they could be linked to your heart. Imagine sitting down to enjoy your favorite meal, and suddenly you feel queasy, like your stomach is churning for no reason. Or maybe you stood up too quickly, and instead of the usual momentary dizziness, you feel like you might actually faint. These are signals that your body is out of balance, and could be a sign that blood isn't flowing the way it should. It's important to remember that these symptoms don't always happen in isolation. Sometimes, they come in combinations that make them easier to overlook. For instance, you might feel short of breath and unusually tired at the same time, or you could have mild chest discomfort along with a bit of nausea. On their own, they might not seem like much, but together they paint a clearer picture of what's happening. I want to pause here for a moment to say this. There's no such thing as overreacting when it comes to your health. If you notice any of these signs, don't hesitate to reach out to your doctor, or if the symptoms are severe or getting worse, call emergency services. It's better to get checked out and have it turn out to be nothing than to ignore it and risk serious consequences. And here's another tip that's just as important. Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. Women's symptoms are often misunderstood, even in medical settings. If you feel something isn't right, speak up. Your instinct is your best ally, and your voice matters. It's also worth mentioning that while these signs might seem overwhelming, they're your body's way of trying to help you. They're like an alarm system, giving you the chance to take action before things get worse. And the earlier you act, the better your chances of recovery. That brings us to an important point. Lifestyle can play a huge role in keeping your heart healthy. Eating a balanced diet, staying active, and managing stress are all ways to support your heart and lower your risk of heart disease. But even the healthiest habits don't make you immune, which is why paying attention to these signs is so important. You're not powerless here. Every choice you make, from deciding to listen to your body to seeking care when something feels off, is a step toward taking control of your health. Now, let's address one final sign that often flies under the radar, but is just as critical as the others: a cold sweat. Have you ever found yourself breaking out in a sudden sweat, even when you weren't exerting yourself? It might feel clammy, like your skin is damp and cool to the touch. Sometimes, it's accompanied by feelings of unease or dread, as if something isn't quite right. Many women describe it as a sensation that seems out of place, almost like a chill running through their body even when the room isn't cold. This isn't the kind of sweating you'd expect after a workout, or on a hot day. It's your body's fight or flight response kicking in, because something serious is happening internally. Sweating like this can be your heart's way of signaling distress. It's easy to dismiss it as a sign of menopause, anxiety, or even a passing illness, but when paired with other symptoms like chest discomfort, shortness of breath, or nausea, it's a clear indicator to seek medical help immediately. Now, let's take a moment to connect the dots. Chest discomfort, unusual fatigue, upper body aches, shortness of breath, nausea, lightheadedness, and cold sweats. Each of these signs on their own might seem small or unrelated, but together, they create a pattern that's impossible to ignore. The challenge is that these symptoms don't always arrive in a neat, predictable way. You might experience only one or two, or they might come and go in waves. That's why it's so important to trust your instincts. If you're watching this and thinking, "I've felt some of these things before," don't panic. Instead, take it as an opportunity to be proactive. Reach out to your healthcare provider to discuss your symptoms, even if they've subsided. Remember, it's always better to check and find out it's nothing than to ignore it and risk a serious outcome. I also want to acknowledge something many women feel guilt or hesitation about: bothering others with their concerns. Maybe you think, "Oh, it's probably nothing," or "I don't want to waste anyone's time." But here's the truth. Your health is never a waste of time. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's essential. And let's not forget, the people who love you want you to be healthy and safe. You're not doing them any favors by ignoring the warning signs your body is giving you. Think of it like maintaining your car. You wouldn't ignore the check engine light and hope for the best, right? Your body deserves the same level of care and attention, if not more. Now, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a few parting thoughts. Heart disease might be the leading cause of death for women, but it doesn't have to be. By staying informed, listening to your body, and taking action when you notice something isn't right, you can significantly lower your risk and improve your chances of catching problems early. And here's something to keep in mind. Every step you take toward better heart health, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. Eating a little healthier, moving your body a bit more, managing stress, and getting regular checkups all add up over time. You don't have to make big changes overnight. It's about progress, not perfection. Before we go, I'd love to hear from you. Have you or someone you know experienced any of these symptoms? What steps do you take to keep your heart healthy? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. It might just help someone else. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. Together, we can create a community where we empower each other to live our healthiest, happiest lives. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take care of yourself, you deserve it. Here's to living your best life at every age. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and for joining me in this important conversation about heart health. If you found this information helpful, please consider giving the video a like. It really helps support the channel and allows us to reach more people who might benefit from this content. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, filled with tips and insights to help you live a healthier and happier life, please subscribe to the channel. We're building a community focused on empowerment and well-being, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. Your time and attention mean the world to me. Thank you again for being here, and take care of yourself. You're worth it.